live.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Pipe, and I'm here with my co-host Rob Kent. Today, we're going to chat through: should you wait until the real estate bubble pops? Are you a prospective home buyer thinking about getting into the market or moving up in the market? And are you thinking about what's happening with prices in Ontario and wondering, maybe I should just wait because every time I go looking for a house, it's more expensive than the last time. I'm a local mortgage agent, and Rob's a local realtor. Between the two of us, we're going to talk through some quick perspectives on what you might do to either avoid or maybe stay out of the market, or maybe it's not the right choice. So the question we're trying to answer for you today is: should I wait for the real estate bubble to pop? So Rob, why don't we just get started with you? I mean, I know you probably go through this a lot with your clients, and you have a lot of clients who
Yeah.
probably feel frustration. Do you get this question a lot? Do people come up to you and say, Rob, I'm out?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. People are looking at homes, and then you give them a call to see where they're at with they're buying. Are you buying this year? Are you buying next year? And the question is, or the timing, right? So they say, oh, we want to wait until we see the prices come down, right? But typically this never happens in real estate, right? Typically, if a slowing down would just be a stabilization of prices. Sometimes the prices
Yeah.
come down, but I mean, they don't drastically come down, and they don't come down for a long period of time, right? It
Yeah.
might be a month, maybe a
You
few
know,
weeks even, right?
yeah. Yeah. I bought
So
a house in 2017. And I think at the time, if you look at the price chart in our
yeah,
area, sort of southwestern Ontario, that was a peak.
yes,
And probably some people would have said, well, I'm not going to buy. It's time to wait until this
yeah,
bubble pops and prices go down by 15% or some large number. You know, for me, they didn't, though. They didn't go down
no,
a lot. I mean, we took a
no,
pause,
yeah.
but they didn't go down a lot. So what do you usually say to clients, or what maybe I mean they have to make that decision, but what kinds of things
Yeah.
do they need to think about when they're considering maybe taking a pause because they're frustrated or they're disappointed about how many times it takes to put a successful offer together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's about having a plan, right? So it's thinking about the plan and like how that would realistically look like, right? So if people say, we want to wait, the question is why? Like, let's say that you're looking for a home and your budget is, a lot of people's budget right now is probably between 500 and 550, let's say 500 and 600, right? So your budget's 500 and 600. What does the home look like now? Probably a town. So here, Guelph, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, in our area, that would probably get you a townhouse or a condo, right? Even the semi-detached are starting to creep up to more than 550, 600. You might be able to get a semi
Yeah.
for five, but if you wait, what does that look like a year from now? So, like, let's say I'm looking, the prospect or the person says, I'm looking to buy next year, this time next year. So, what does that look like? I mean, it's hard for me to say what that looks like, but the trend is that, you know, at the end of the year, you take a look to see what the average price of homes go up, and typically it's 4 to 6. But over the last couple of years, since COVID, we're seeing like numbers of like over 20%,
Hmm.
between 20 to 30%, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge. And you step back and you think, well, how if it looks like this again next year, 20%,
Hmm.
where's that money going to come from, right? How do you save up 20% to get and that's just to get that same home.
Yep.
Like that's still to just get that townhouse, maybe semi-detached or a condo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The
it's
way
it is frustrating for
I,
sure.
from the mortgage side, I always look at, could you get approved for more next year? And could
Yeah.
you save up your down payment to be that much higher next year? And
Right.
every buyer is different, but if you're a first time buyer and you're trying to, maximize your down payment, and maybe you have, a small savings or an RSP, let's say you have an
Yeah.
RSP and the
Right.
maximum withdrawal is 35,000. Well, that
Yeah.
theoretically could get you 20 times, maximum as far as down payment goes. So that means you could borrow up to 700K if your income
Yeah.
supported it. So the question
If your
is,
income supported
right.
it.
So
Yeah.
the question is, if prices go up even at a normal amount, right? Which we'll say
Yeah.
is say 5%, right? I know that this year has been double digits and
Yeah.
last year was double digits, but let's say they go
Yeah.
5%. So that means on the 700K house you could afford this year, that maybe wasn't
Yeah.
your dream home, but it was a great house to build some equity in. That house goes up by $35,000 because
Yeah.
that's 5%. So
5%.
now, not only do you have to have your down payment of 35,000, you have to have 35,000 more to be able
Yeah.
to overcome that price increase because it just went outside
Yeah.
of your affordability by that amount.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the challenge people face, right? It's like how do I keep my income and my down payment growing at a rate higher in real dollars, in actual dollars, not percent, but in actual
Yeah.
dollars. And for most people that's tough as the house price is going up. So
Yeah.
what do you do, right? So what do people do next when you go through that and have that conversation? Then what do they often do?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, you just provide advice. A, see if they can. You've got
That's my
a
dog.
ghost coming in back there.
This is the beauty of live for everybody. Just so everyone knows, we're recorded live. This is the beauty of live. That's the dog.
That's right. Yeah. It's always awesome
Yeah.
live. You never know what's going to happen live, right? But I mean, the outlook is that, you might not be able to get the home that you want right now. So it might become a two-step process, unless if you have parents, like awesome parents that are going to gift you that money. I mean, that's always one thing. But if you can't do that realistically, then maybe it's a two-step process. Now it's like you buy a home that you don't necessarily want long term, and it wouldn't be a long term, but if you can get in and you get a condo or you get a townhome, and that's not necessarily what you want a detached home.
Mm-hmm.
Start off, it's a starting point, right? Because I mean, you're getting in, you're starting to build equity, and it's about having that plan, right? What does it look like after 3 to 5 years? Like let's say that you have a 5-year term on your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So when that 5 years is up, maybe then that's when you can upgrade to a detached home, depending on what the market looks like after 5 years.
Right.
But do you want to wait 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. And to get back to, you're right, exactly. Do you want to wait? Do you want to not have the enjoyment of that property and the equity growth?
Yeah.
But to get back to the core question, right? Like, should I wait for the bubble to pop? So that really is two questions. Number one, is there a bubble that will pop here in Ontario? Is there a real estate bubble? And I think that there are opinions on both sides of that, but history has shown that, even when prices are a little bit on the high side, it doesn't tend to drastically, sort of pop, as everyone says. It doesn't tend to, come down all of a sudden by huge amounts and then everyone can go in and buy. Because the thing is, if prices started to decrease by quite a bit, if there were a bubble, then supply and demand would balance it out, and those people who are waiting would immediately fill that void and push prices back up.
Yeah.
So question one, is there a bubble? I would say that if prices are definitely high, but are they high if you're going to buy with the plan of selling next year? Yeah, probably. Are they high if you have a plan of a 5-year, like being in the home for 5 years? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. So even one mortgage term, and this all gets wiped away by natural price growth. So, of course, you and I can't say for sure, and nobody, even the most, the people with the most amount of information can't say for sure. But I think that the idea of a bubble in Ontario has been said time and time and time again, and we often discover that that's a great way to sell, news, and a great way to get views on your article about a bubble, but the truth is it's probably not going to be something that we're going to see a huge decrease in the value of real estate.
Right.
And like I said, I sort of suffered through it myself in 2017, where we did see a slight decrease, and I think you've seen those charts as well, where the price sort of dipped a little bit, but in about a year and a half later or so, like, you were basically back to where you were. And then the rest is all growth. Meanwhile, your mortgage is getting paid down a little bit, and so you've locked in your price at that amount, and that recovers back pretty quickly. So I would say that if you have a long-term outlook, buy when the time is right for you. Don't think about if the market is, if you can time it perfectly. It's like any investment, right? Timing the market perfectly is really tough to do. You're better off to make that purchase when it makes sense for your situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, that makes it less exciting, but now where do we go from here?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it always starts with the plan, right? So, and it depends on your situation now. I mean, if you're living at home and you're not paying rent, then, you just look at it. Can you save? Can you save up? If you're paying rent, how much are you paying per month? Can you still save on top of the rent that you're paying? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
If you did want to buy next year or, later on down the road, it's about saving up, right? Saving, having the plan, and, knowing who to talk to, right?
Yeah.
Like, talk to people, and talk to more than one person. If you don't like the information or the advice that somebody's giving you, do talk to other people. If you start hearing the same thing over and over again, then you have to think about that, right? Then, okay, maybe everybody knows what they're talking about, or maybe this is kind of the truth.
Right. Yeah. And so that's where it comes down to getting good advice. So,
Yeah.
usually in chats like this, it's just, important for us to reiterate, if you're a real estate shopper, if you're an investor or a homeowner looking to, say, buy or sell, but you need some advice,
Yeah.
go out and get some advice from somebody, a professional in your area or who can serve your area, who you think can help you, and make that connection with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
As a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything to work with a mortgage agent. As a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything to work with a real estate agent who can serve your best interest when you get out there into
Yeah.
that negotiation, and when you're looking for, how to, navigate a specific neighborhood or city. So get a team behind you,
Yeah.
get the advice, and start this process early, so that
Yeah.
in the event that you do have to plan for the medium and the long term, then you already have that plan in place and you feel good about the contacts you've made to help you to get there. So
Yeah.
absolutely do that. Questions don't cost anything, and there's no commitment. So I encourage
Exactly.
everybody. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. If you're in a different market, contact a local person or somebody who serves your area who can give you that advice that you can make a connection with. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the key, right, David, is talking to somebody who knows that market, who's living in that market, knows the market like the back of their hand. Sure, you might have, a friend or a relative in your market. Like, let's say you're in the GTA
mm-hmm.
and they're in real estate. Yeah, you can get their advice,
Mm-hmm.
but do they know the market of where you're moving to or where you would like to move to, right? It's about talking to somebody who's local, who knows that market.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Because each market is different, right?
Yep.
Guelph market's different than than the GTA. I was talking to a colleague of mine that lives in BC, right? BC market's different,
Yeah.
right? She was asking me about the rental market, and I was telling her how hot the rental market was, here in this area. It's tough to find rentals.
Yeah.
And each market's going to be different, and just have that conversation. Local people will know their numbers. They'll know like what the average homes are selling for, and how long it takes to sell them. They'll know, and if they don't know, then I would certainly
Well, that's
that's
why you can ask for a second opinion, right? So get out there,
That's
and
right.
you'll find you make a connection with somebody who can give the info you need,
Yeah.
and you can build a relationship with of trust.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
good. That's good. Well, with that being said, I think we've done a good job. We always exceed our 10 minutes, so I won't
Yeah.
put you through it more. But unless there's any final thoughts, Rob, from you. Looks good. Okay,
No,
that's great.
no.
I think that this is good info. So the short version is probably the bubble won't pop. Probably, if you have a
No.
long-term outlook, real estate is a great investment. Talk to a
Yeah.
local agent, talk to a local mortgage agent or a real estate agent to help answer questions you have. And if you have anything for us, you'll be able to contact us using the links in the bottom. Have a great day. Thanks very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.